On today's episode of the Fumblerooski podcast, Rooski Game of the Week sees one of the most legendary rivalries in all of the sport of football, the Bears and the Packers, a battle for the NFC North. After that, the rest of our Week 14 game picks, including Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Texans, and Monday Night Football, the Chargers and the Eagles, with a recap of the Thursday Night Football matchup between the Cowboys and the Lions. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome to the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 88 Dean Radio and Secret Weapon Consulting. CJ Medeiros, I'm Chris Costich. No Tuck today, no Adam today, unfortunately. Just a little bit weird scheduling-wise. I'm on a bit of a tight schedule myself, so we're probably going to be in for a bit of a quick one, at least for this first part, coming right before the recap of Thursday Night Football, and make sure you stick around for that. But let's get into our Rooski game of the week, the Bears and the Packers. The Bears obviously one of those teams where, you know, who would have thought? Who would have thought they would be in this spot right now? Packers, no big surprise. They ever since the Micah Parsons trade, they were deemed as a Super Bowl favorite. They went into a bit of a cold stretch and then, lit it up against Detroit. Looked really good on Thanksgiving. But I think the big thing here, when you look at the Bears, I think the biggest talking point going into this week, or just really amidst this season, this incredible season for the Bears, is, well, that's cute. Go beat the Packers. That's basically it. Like, none of this really matters if they can't beat Green Bay, their most hated rival. And I think that's a huge reason, of course, why we have this as Rooski Game of the Week, because it's just that simple. You know, none of this matters if you aren't able to beat Green Bay. And if you're able to beat Green Bay, then you have yourself a 1.5 game split against the Packers. If you lose this game, the Packers take the top spot in the NFC North, with the Packers holding the literal tiebreaker over the Bears. So it's funny. It's funny how the tie works, man. It's funny how the tie ends up actually coming into play. And here we are. And so just a quick look at like how big of a difference it would be for these two. Essentially, it's if the Bears lose, then they would drop down to the 6th spot, depending on all the other games, of course. CJ, I have to step off for a quick second, but what's your pick?
Right now for the pick, this is tough. So the thing with the Chicago Bears is they've been winning games, right? And I think the most recent game against Philly is exemplary of what I'm about to say. Caleb Williams is slowly moving into the category of quarterback that you can win with. The question is, can he be the quarterback you win because of? Because there are a lot of these Bears victories where some of them he's been really good, but in equal parts, he's just been very pedestrian, leaning on the run game and the defense. The Packers, we've seen them. We've seen the peaks. We've seen the valleys. They're a really good team, but they're also kind of a grab bag where are we getting Toyotathon Jordan Love or are we getting sucky Jordan Love? And, the Packers defense is either going to become a turnstile or it's going to be absolute lockdown. They're just so inconsistent. Meanwhile, the Bears have found, like I said, some consistency, but is Jordan Love the catalyst? Is he not? That's the question. So for our game of the week, Sunday, December 7th at 4:25 p.m., I got the Bears rolling into the tundra of Lambeau Field and getting served a big fat L. Why I say that, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think that, the Packers are going to come in and put belt to ass, but I definitely think Packers are going to show why they're big brother.
Yeah, I'm more or less just in the mindset of it's Toyotathon. It's
Oh
really
yeah,
hard.
it's Toyotathon.
It's surprisingly really hard to beat Jordan Love during Toyotathon. And I also think that this is going to be a really really good game. Like, this is going to be down the wire because it's the Packers, their defense has been good all year. The offense seems like they picked up the spark again. The Bears have a solid defense themselves. They actually have a pretty solid pass defense, and never mind the run game too. But in terms of Toyotathon, though, I literally just had the stat here, but where was it? Oh, here we go. I don't know why it's being like this. All right. During Toyotathon, 8 games, completion percentage 70.25%, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 112.98 QBR.
God damn.
Insane.
It's real. And I do want to say one more thing. I got a little message for the Bears. Every question about your legitimacy goes away if you beat the Packers. You want everyone to shut up, shut them up. As the episode title says, prove them wrong. But I do have a warning. If you lose this game, you're not legit. I know they say, oh, one game doesn't make you legit. Yeah, I'm sorry. You lose this game, I do not look at you as a contender. Want to prove me wrong? Want to shut me up? Beat the Packers. Chris,
Exactly.
I assume you share roughly the same sentiments?
Yeah. No, it's exactly it. Like, they need to beat the Packers. And this isn't going to be the last time that these two teams see each other either. They play
December
again.
20th.
December 20th at 8:20. Saturday night primetime game. I like it. All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, week 14 game picks. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
All right, let's get into the week 14 game picks, starting with the early afternoon slate. Teams on the bye this week: the Pats, the Giants, the Niners, and the Panthers. So more time for Abdul Carter to watch some porn this week.
Penn State and them came out right there.
Yep.
Bam.
Yep. Starting out with the Falcons and the Seahawks. Seahawks 7-point favorites on the road, over under 44.5. This Falcons team, well, they took a loss last week to the Jets. They've only won 1 game in their last 8. They're not making the playoffs, of course. Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's been all right. Not the same Kirk Cousins of the past. It's the Seahawks all day. That's all it really is. I mean, the Seahawks kind of had a weird one last week, but let's be real.
That was more so, really good Vikings defense,
Yeah.
Atlanta defense is slowly kind of petered out.
Yeah. The Seahawks manhandled the Vikings' third quarterback this year, an undrafted free agent, as you had mentioned on Tuesday's show during week 3, top 3, bottom 3. Undrafted free agent from Minnesota and UNH. But yeah. Seahawks.
So, yeah, I'm also going with the Seahawks here. For the Falcons, maybe you have Drake London, maybe you don't, but it doesn't matter. This isn't the Kirk Cousins of yore. We're not looking at Kirk O'Chains. This is khaki Kirk, if anything. So give me the Seahawks. I don't think it's going to be particularly close, definitely hammering the over. And in the Falcons, just wait for the offseason when Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot probably get fired. That's all you have to look forward to. And if they don't, well, then you're just screwed.
And if you want another case to go to say the Lions are going to lose,
Lions.
Drake, they're
Falcons. Whoa.
Whoa. In another case to say the Falcons are going to lose, God knows if Drake London's even going to play this week. Didn't practice on Wednesday. We're recording this Thursday, December 4th. So he didn't practice Wednesday. I didn't see any word on if he practiced Thursday or not.
I think he's questionable.
He's questionable right now.
If ESPN Fantasy is any indication, I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's questionable right now. But either way. Bills, Bengals. Bills are 5.5-point favorites at home. Over unders 53.5. In terms of in terms of games where you have a team with a winning record like the Bills and a team with a losing record like the Bengals, like I would say all the other intriguing games that we have really on the slate are either teams with winning records going against each other, like say Chiefs, Texans, like they're battling for a playoff spot. Chargers, Eagles, two teams with a winning record fighting for playoff spots, or more or less the Chargers, but winning records, but also look weirdly bad. Jacksonville, Indianapolis for the division, essentially. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, same thing. But Buffalo and Cincinnati is one of the more intriguing ones because of how good the Bengals played last week against Baltimore on Thanksgiving night. You know, Joe Burrow in his return and Bengals on short rest, of course, too. Ravens and Bengals both on short rest, but a bad defense like the Bengals, no T. Higgins, and they just slapped the Ravens around, quoting Justin Tucker, like the abused stepchild. So the Bills have been very inconsistent themselves. Like they had to really scratch and claw throughout the first half of that Steelers game last week and finally figured it out in the second half. But it's with the way the Bills have been looking, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Bengals upset this week.
So you're going with the Bengals?
I don't know. Look, you know what? Screw it. Let's see it. You know, like it's that type of season, right? And like since even with such a terrible defense, the Bengals with Joe Burrow have always been able to find a way to keep pace, no matter the score. If it's a shootout, they keep pace. If it's a low-scoring game, yeah, they keep pace more or less. They end up scoring 30 points anyways. But they keep pace. And this Bills defense especially is extremely inconsistent.
Yeah, they're missing a few pieces too.
Exactly. So shoot me for it, but I like the Bengals this week.
Yeah, this is definitely a weird one. I am leaning with Buffalo for one reason. They've got a little extra thing to play for with avoiding the upset, because a lot of people, myself included, were worried it was a trap game on Monday night. New England puts a little more distance between themselves and Buffalo. Buffalo has to win this game if they want any shot, because then they're going to have New England coming off of a bye. And if New England beats them, then New England wins the division outright, I believe. And you cannot, and if you're the Bills, you can't put yourself behind the 8 ball, because if some weird tiebreaker happens, you might put yourself out of it if you lose to Cincy. And Cincy, I don't know what to make of them. Is the defense good now? Because even though they lost, they gave New England a hard time. They gave Rodgers a hard time for that first half before he was replaced with Rudolph. And they were an absolute boogeyman to Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a sneakily ugly game. Some people have it as a shootout. I don't. I think Buffalo grinds out a really unimpressive, ugly win.
Yeah, I mean, for all I know, I could just be wrong. It was Buffalo this entire time, for all I know. Cleveland, Tennessee.
Well, it's not an unreasonable upset.
No, not at all. It would just be one of the more funny upsets amongst many that the Bills have had this year. Browns, Titans. Browns 4.5-point favorites at home. You're gonna love this, CJ. Please, what's the over/under? It's low. It's low.
So we're looking at Browns, Titans. I'm gonna be a little crazy here. 33.5.
Oh, on the dot. On the
Yes!
dot. On the dot.
I actually didn't see that. I knew when you said low, I was like, oh, what's your definition of low versus mine? No, I had to. It's very fitting. It's very fitting that it would.
I
be
was
this
afraid
low.
you were going to go below 30. I was
No.
very
That's that. No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like part of me actually was like kind of feeling the Titans a little bit when you first sent us the text of, hey, send the game picks, da. And part of me was really feeling the Titans, right? I don't know. There's part of me that was like, I mean, it's hard to win all 17 games. It's actually even hard. It's even harder to only win one game. So part of me was like, you know what? Maybe
They
it's a
only
game.
won because the Cardinals shot themselves in the face. You gotta
Exactly.
remember.
Exactly.
They didn't even win that game. The Cardinals lost. So,
Yep.
Are they due? Is what you're thinking, or? But
It-
before you give your pick, I would like to say that Titans O line versus Myles Garrett.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. Then I remembered that it's Myles Garrett against that O line, and it's like, what? Let's not overthink this. Let's not
Yeah.
overthink this.
I'm also going Cleveland. Myles Garrett against that O line, and as for the offense, it's nothing to write home about. They're very but I think Shador Sanders and Quinshon Judkins and Jerry Jeudy and all them can do just enough to keep them above water. Like I said, they're not world beaters, but Shador hasn't been like a dumpster fire. He hasn't been completely uninspiring like Dylan Gabriel. So I think the offense can keep pace against the sluggish Titans defense. And I think Myles Garrett's about a feast. He could have like 3 sacks. Man, someone's got to save Cam Ward, though. That's all I'm going to say. Give me the
Somebody.
Browns. They're sending Ward out there to die. He's getting the short end, and it's so wrong.
Yeah, that'll be when we have Blaine Bishop on next time, whenever that is. That'll be a interesting conversation of how do you even assess Cam Ward after this season? Like,
You really can't. I mean, I'm not huge on it, but he almost gets a mulligan. Essentially,
Yeah.
it's kind of like last season. We were talking about Caleb Williams and Drake May getting a mulligan, having to deal with Matt Eberflus and Gerard Mayo, and now look at them.
Yeah, like Cam Ward he's playing on like the worst team in football.
It's not particularly close either.
Yeah, on the worst team in football. Coach gets fired middle of the season. GM got fired middle of the season too, right?
No, they haven't fired Bergonzi. He's new. Carthon, their old GM, got fired off season.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. All right. Minnesota, Washington. Vikings are 2.5-point favorites at home. It's looking like JJ McCarthy this week, which I don't like. What's the difference at this point? What is the difference? Like,
he's slightly less terrible than Brosmer.
I mean,
slightly.
Brosmer had the worst performance since a guy who lost his eye in World War II.
What was it? Tommy Thompson?
Tommy Thompson, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Or I'll finish up real quick.
Okay.
I got the Commanders. I was honestly, like, the Mariota performance against Denver last week was pretty inspiring. Like, made me feel like I was 15 again. Watching he was dicing up one of the best defenses in the league on those last 2 drives. Like, Denver had
his veins there. Oh my God, 2 touchdowns.
Denver had no shot of stopping him besides like literally sending the house on the 2-point conversion at the end there, which Adam saying that they should have kicked the field goal there is so.
No, they weren't going to get the ball back. Denver just sat on the clock and kicked a game winner.
Yeah, like they would have sat on the clock. The Washington doesn't need a tie; they need a win because they're what's the record now? 3-8 or 3-9. At the time, it was 3-8. Now it's 3-9. But like that's literally the point, though. Like they're 3-8. They need wins. They don't need a tie. Like what's a tie does almost nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it does enough to get you maybe a bump in the standings, but If we're talking in points, that's just half a point. A tie is
Yeah.
essentially just half a point. Like, that's
No,
all it
you're
is.
right. You're right. And yeah, you got to respect him going for the win there. Also, Chris, you said via text that Quinn probably loses the locker room if he doesn't go for 2.
Exactly.
Because there's
Like,
something to be said for playing to win over playing not to lose.
yes.
And that is why, much like you, I'm going with Washington here. Look, I know it's Marcus Mariota in 2025, but I have no confidence in JJ McCarthy. We thought that Justin Jefferson was quarterback proof. Hell, he looked good when Nick Mullins was throwing him the ball. The fact that McCarthy has made Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson look this bad is terrifying. That's just flat out alarming.
Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad. And to make it worse, like imagine your quarterback, right? Yeah, this first round pick, top 10 pick. He's out for a season, whatever. And it's your first round pick. And 10 games into his career, he's been made into a meme that symbolize suckage. Straight suckage.
And we've literally said before, he's quite literally statistically in Jamarcus Russell territory.
Who didn't even study the playbook.
Yeah. So, I mean, and considering the fact McCarthy, as far as we know, is studying the playbook, I would assume he is, that's actually, dare I say, a little impressive.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, unlike fellow people from his draft class like Drake May and Caleb Williams, I don't think McCarthy really gets a mulligan this year. I know I said it's technically his rookie year, but when he has Addison, Jefferson, and Hawkinson to throw to and Jones out of the backfield, there's no reason to struggle this much. I don't care if their offensive line is subpar. You're ruining Justin Jefferson. That's also kind of impressive.
Yeah. On top of KOC being your head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins, Jets. Jets. Sorry.
I said just, oh my God. The toilet bowl again.
Yeah.
Browns, Titans. Like,
disgusting.
More of that.
Jets are 2.5 point underdogs at home. 41.5 is the over under. And I'm picking the Jets in an upset. And
well, they beat the Falcons last week, so anything's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. And I guess when I look at this game, right, like I have to look at the weather. Because, it's December 4th. Mm-hmm. Today's December 4th. You guys will be listening on December 5th. It's December. It gets cold in the Northeast. What's the temperature in East Rutherford, New Jersey on Sunday? 40 degrees.
Oh, I think under 40 is the magic number, though. Is it 40 and under or under 40?
It is actually 45 and under. That's even worse. Actually, maybe even like 46 or 47. But like, either way, he's like Tua's 0-7 in games under 40. I'm going to go 46 degrees. I don't have it up in front of me, but it's under 46 degrees.
Jeez.
Give me the Jets. Just give me the Jets.
Granted, I made these picks before knowing this. I'm leaning towards the Dolphins just because that offense with Waddle and especially Devon Achane still have a lot of explosive potential. Sure, Tua looks terrible. Their defense is inconsistent, but I don't know. Hot take for Miami. It's actually better for them, I think, if they lose this game because they're putting together like a decent win streak right now. And I'm sure their hack head coach McDaniel's using this to say, but we're on a win streak. You can't fire me. Dude, yeah. It's inevitable. And the longer the Dolphins stay alive, even though their odds of making the playoffs are like at 1%, he's going to try to blame injuries or something when no, dude, it's over. It's probably better for them if they do lose. Knowing the temperature thing, I would change the Jets, but now I'm seeing it through. I think the Dolphins are going to squeak out an ugly one as well.
Yeah. You mentioned Achane. He like sneakily is a top 5 fantasy running back right now.
Yeah.
He's averaging 21.2 fantasy points per game. And he's also, the last 3 games, he's rushed for more than 120 yards. Wild.
Well, yeah, he's a speedy little devil too, Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's why. Like,
No, I know.
soon
It's
as
just
they hand it to him, he's just gone. Like, if he gets
No.
to a second level, you better pray to God that
I'm
that
not
you
even
get
saying you're wrong. It's just the way it came out was a little funny.
Yeah. No, he is like, yeah. The only way to stop him though is just hit him. He sucks.
Yeah.
He can make you miss at a tackle, but he can't break tackles. So
Yeah.
like your only excuse is your only hope is like just get a hand on him.
Yeah.
But he's too fast for that. So yeah, it balances out.
Bucks Saints, Bucks 8.5-point favorites at home against New Orleans. 41.5 is the over under. It's the Bucks.
They got
It's the
Bucky
Bucks.
Irving back and Chris Godwin's looking better. That's all I'm gonna say there.
Yeah, Chris Godwin was actually like looking like he wasn't 45 years old. Not even saying he's old. He's just like he was just hurt all year and unproductive until this past week.
Yeah. I guess we're both going Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spend. I didn't really want to spend a ton of time on that. Anyways, Jacksonville Colts. Jacksonville's 1.5-point underdogs at home. 47.5 is the over under. I mean, geez, who would have thought, right? Like,
Who thought either of them were going to be good?
Who thought either of them would be good? But at the same time, like the Colts were so hot, and all of a sudden it's at a screeching halt right now. Colts are in a bad, losing 3 of their last 4. Lost at home to the Texans last week. First game that Stroud was back. And now you're basically fighting for the division all over again somehow. Like, it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't. And here they are now
Fighting for the division.
They're not the division leader anymore. It's currently Jacksonville.
So there's a lot at stake here. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep. A lot at stake. CJ.
You know who Indy reminds me of?
Who?
You might not agree, maybe to an extent, but they kind of scream 2021 Patriots to me. You know, a team that's defense and running the ball, and then teams just started stacking the box every play and saying, beat me with your arm. They got punched in the mouth, and then they started cratering. This is Indy. Yeah, that's how I view it. And when they start losing, like you're noticing it every single play. You know, the Chiefs did it, the Texans did it, the Steelers did it. They're just sending everyone at Jonathan Taylor and making Daniel Jones beat them through the air. And Daniel Jones cannot, in fact, beat them through the air. So I think Jacksonville is going to do the same thing. However, the 2021 Patriots beat the Jaguars, and I have the Colts doing the same. Not for the sake of a comparison, but because I think the Jags are going to send everyone at Jonathan Taylor. I just don't think they have the facilities to stop him.
Yeah.
Give me the Colts. And I know I say it a lot, but I also expect this game to be ugly. You know why? If you don't like ugly games, you don't like AFC South football.
Nice. I guess the question is, do we trust the defense to be able to stop Jonathan Taylor at that point?
I don't know. I said I think they're going to try. They're going to copy the formula. I just don't think they have the facilities for it. They really don't.
I agree with that. Give me the Colts. I think JT has himself a good bounce back game and bounce back week for the Colts and retake the lead in the AFC South. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. The Ravens, 5.5-point favorites at home. And the over-under is 42.5. The Steelers haven't completed a downfield pass in over a month. How can you tell me?
Say that again?
Yeah. Yep.
What do you mean a downfield pass in over a month?
Like a deep pass over 20 yards.
Oh, that's what I was afraid of what you meant. So they have air yards or just like catch and run or either?
Either. I think it's air yards.
God.
But anyways, but this, I guess I just never really thought about how much of a meme the Steelers are, right? Because obviously it's the meme of, oh, they're gonna be 500. It's another winning season for Mike Tomlin. Oh, you could have Aaron Rodgers, or you could have this quarterback. All roads lead to 9-8. Da da da. And to put the cherry on top, right? There was a tweet that came out earlier this week, and I don't know the guy's name, what the guy's name is. I'll try to find it real quick. But basically, the tweet was like, Mike Tomlin is going to say in a press conference about eating soup or something ridiculous, and then go on. Oh, here it is. Seth Rorabaugh, 3 days ago. Mike Tomlin will say something like, we can't eat soup with forks. We need spoons. Then the Steelers will sign a 2018 Pro Bowler to the practice squad. Guess who the Steelers ended up signing off of waivers literally the next day?
Adam Thielen. I saw
Adam
it.
Thielen, 2018 Pro Bowler. Like, it's like the fact that this is the most predictable team in football off the field and on the field is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyways, Ravens.
It should be the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens, but they always struggle against Pittsburgh. I don't understand why they do, but they do. I can also see, I could see Pittsburgh winning because AFC North, but I definitely think the Ravens could be playing with a little extra fire for the division there. And Rodgers just looks terrible. Like, he's playing like an old man.
Yeah.
And if Lamar can, cut down on the turnovers, they should win. TJ Watt or not. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, like Lamar has also been, like, obviously talk shit about the Steelers, but the Ravens really have not looked that great either.
No,
even during the winning streak. But like, and as you mentioned, Lamar's been looking like ass. I should know. I have him in fantasies. It's so frustrating.
I'm not laughing at you, just the way you said
no,
that.
I know. I got it. But like, it's the Ravens. It's the Ravens. And yeah, this is going to be an ugly game because you can ask Tuck the same thing. Every Steelers-Ravens game is the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life. But it's entertaining. Or at least when it was Roethlisberger versus Flacco. Now it's not as entertaining. It's still entertaining to watch Lamar. All right. We'll take a quick break, get into the late afternoon games and Sunday night and Monday night football. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast. Time to get into the late afternoon games and primetime slots. Vegas and Denver. Raiders are 7.5 point underdogs at home. Over-unders 40.5. I don't know if you knew. So I don't know if we talked about this after it happened, but Chip Kelly was fired last week, of course, right?
Yeah.
Did you see what came out afterwards about Chip Kelly?
I saw something, but you're going to have to refresh my memory. I remember it wasn't anything good.
So he was calling plays that were not designed for the week. Were not.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Like play calls that like Geno Smith didn't know. Like barely. Like he was basically sabotaging the entire offense this entire season. Like that's pretty bad. That's
so surely they'll be better now, right?
Well, that was before. That was going into last week's game. And last week, they put up 14 against the Chargers and lost 31-14. They have not eclipsed more. They have not gone above 16 points in the last 4 games. The fact that they've been able to, the fact that they beat the Patriots is still ridiculous.
Dude, it's week 1. It was a fluky victory.
I know, but it's like, how did that happen?
Dude, week 1, all kinds of nonsense happens.
I know. It's just
But yeah, I know. And all the Pats fans be like, "Oh, you lost to the Raiders," but it's just all their trash talking just falls apart with even a tiny bit of context. Saying it's week 1 completely just like destroys any arguments. But
I
yeah,
know. It's still silly. But Denver, well, they have a chance to get themselves tied for the conference again. I'm not sure if a win would get or a win. I'm not sure if a win would get them back to first in the conference, which actually it would because they
Pats
would
are on
be
bye.
7-2 in the conference and the Pats are 6-2. It's literally the only reason. So I am going to go with the Broncos. Maybe more of a hopefully a better game than what was that Thursday night
Yeah.
matchup a few weeks ago.
I don't know how much I can trust Denver. I mean, they're winning, but they're winning ugly. And even if you can say, "Oh yeah, well the defense does it," Bo Nix is clutch. Is it sustainable? I remember we were all going back and forth once off camera, and Adam's bringing up, "Oh, they did it with Peyton Manning, and Bo Nix has better stats than that 2015 Peyton Manning." Counterpoint, it's still Peyton Manning. He still had the clutch gene, he still had the football IQ. And also, for what it's worth, the Broncos offense is worse statistically than the 2020 Steelers. So do with that what you will.
That's crazy.
So I still think they're going to win. I just think it's going to be another weirdly ugly game. And
Yeah.
you saw the Jaden Daniels-less Commanders gave them a run for their money. So if this ends up being a one-score game, then I think Denver should really consider hitting, or at least the fan base should hit the panic button. They won't, but
Yeah.
they should.
Cardinals, Rams, 425. Cardinals are 8.5-point underdogs at home. 47.5 is the over-under. I think I'm hitting the get right button here. I'm hitting the get right button for the Rams.
Yeah. You know that meme, hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby? Meet
Yeah.
Rams Cardinals. This is a total get right game. The Cardinals, who no matter what they try, no matter how good they look, just can't seem to squeak out a win. Rams getting the upset of all upsets. I expect the Cardinals to get obliterated in this game. But how funny would it be if the Rams lost? If
It
they
would be
lost,
funny.
then we might need to have a conversation. But I don't think they will. Yeah, give me the Rams. And I'm
Yeah.
hammering the over.
Yeah. And Matt Stafford, he's going to be looking to have a bounce back game himself after a pretty poor week last week against the Panthers. Which, speaking of, he ended up being kicked out of he's now second in MVP odds, Drake May being at the top. Literally got changed at halftime of the Pats Giants Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday Night Football. Oh, sorry.
I just said, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football. Chiefs Texans. Chiefs 3.5-point favorites against the Texans. What I know for sure is that Texans aren't really that great when it comes to playing in Kansas City, especially during the Mahomes era. I like the Chiefs this week. They need a win. I think the Texans' win streak has been great, of course, but
you literally picked the Texans in our pick'em, dog.
Did I?
I have it in front of me.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think it was because I think I accidentally changed my mind during the when I gave you the pick till now, which all good things must come to an end. Give me the Texans. If we're gonna keep on with the Chiefs doing this and that. By the way, fun facts. Here's a cool stat. Thanksgiving game between Chiefs and the Cowboys was the most watched regular season game of all time.
Nice. A lot of America really hate watching. Good, you love to see it.
Oh yeah, I was hate watching. You kidding me?
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah.
I'm actually going with Kansas City on this one. I like the Texans' defense. I don't trust their offense. I think Mahomes could be able to do just enough because he had a solid game, like a really good game, in fact, against the Cowboys. But the Texans' defense is a different animal. I trust them, but can the offense get it done? If CJ Stroud can show a pulse, then I think they'll win. Like literally, if they could do anything resembling offense, they can win. But Arrowhead's a tough place to play, especially for Houston. You know that they don't tend to play well over there. You mentioned, but yeah, I think Mahomes keeps the playoff hopes alive. Also, Houston's ahead of them in the playoff race, and once again, you don't want to screw with Mahomes when his back's against the wall.
Yeah.
Ooh, but once again, my prediction comes with a warning. If Kansas City loses, then I don't care what happens the rest of the season. If they lose, I don't care what their odds are. I don't care what Mahomes pulls out of his ass. If they lose this game, then I think they're done. Like then I think they're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah. I honestly like since I've been liking the Texans more and more. Now I'm thinking about it. You know, the Texans have probably the best defense in the league. CJ Stroud, despite the interception, played pretty good against the Colts, all things considered. And the Texans defense has been one of the biggest catalysts and probably the biggest catalyst and why they have this winning streak. Never mind Davis Mills, of course. But the last 3 weeks, they've given up less than 20 points. And, you know, the Chiefs can put up numbers, of course, but we're also talking about especially last week, right? We're also talking about a Chiefs team that went up against bad Cowboys defense, but the Cowboys defense has been doing well enough. But I just like the Texans. Just give me the Texans already. Just give me the Texans. Monday Night Football, Chargers, Eagles. These are two teams that you could say are in trouble. Chargers with their injuries, of course. Herbert's not been playing great. The offense for Philly's dead. There's no juice in that offense. And Eagles fans are now voicing their displeasure about Kevin Patullo by egging his house. So there's that for you. And the question is, I guess, when does it end? Will it ever end? Well, in the case of these two teams, one thing has to give, right? Something has to give. Eagles have lost 2 in a row. Chargers, well, you could say you got a get right game against the Raiders. How do you build off of that? I think if it would be easier to say that, you know, the Eagles were going to lose this game if they didn't blow it against the Bears, but the way they lost to the Bears is a completely different story at that point. Screw it. Give me the Chargers this week. Give me the Chargers. Because this Eagles pass defense has been ass.
Also, they're not going to have Jalen Carter this week. He had a procedure on both of his shoulders.
Yeah.
He's considered week to week, but he's not playing this week.
Yeah. Watch your mic, by the way. And no, you're good. Eagles run defense has been dickets as well. They let up over 250 rushing yards last week.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Chargers.
The problem with the Chargers is they might not have Herbert for this game. He had to get surgery on his non-throwing hand. And I don't care if it's a non-throwing hand. That's how you stop yourself from falling. Chris, you're a quarterback. You know this. I'm going with Philly here. I won't even call it I don't even know what to call this. It's a stop. I don't know. The Chargers are a weird team, so it's not really a get right game. It's a stop the bleeding game. Yeah, but if they lose this game, then Patullo's got to go. I'm still leaning with Philly here.
Yeah,
because the Chargers' defense is also just not that good.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about too is like, how much is this on Patullo and how much of this is on Sirianni? Because it's Sirianni's playbook, but is this a matter of the Sirianni playbook, or is it a matter of what Patullo's calling?
I think it's a more matter of Patullo's calling because Sirianni's a coach that I just think he's very coordinator reliant. I say this, it seems like every episode, only because it's true. Sirianni needs good coordinators. Does he not? I mean, like I said, we saw what happened when he lost Gannon and Steichen in one offseason, and it looks like we're more of the same. But the problem is Patullo's one of his buddies. This was as close to a nepotism hire as you get. And worse yet is that Sirianni is doubling down. He's saying, oh no, we're going to keep Patullo as play caller. And hot take, this offseason, I would not be surprised if Patullo doesn't get fired. I think they're going to keep him around. At this point, it's less because they believe in him and more because Sirianni doesn't want to be seen as acquiescing, you know?
Yeah. Especially because I don't see I don't see Howie Roseman going to Sirianni like he did in that during that offseason and being like, you got to figure it out or you're done. Like, basically.
You can't tell Sirianni anything anymore. He did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like he won a ring literally that season after Roseman went over and told him the business. And I don't see Roseman doing it again unless like maybe it continues for another season or two, but you definitely can't do it now.
I mean, but do you have a choice? AJ Brown is actively making his displeasure heard.
Yeah.
And I don't care if he had a good game. There are rumors that he is like outright wanted out, even though he's less verbal than Brown. We know that Devontae Smith is unhappy. Saquon's unhappy. Hurts was literally asked if he was shocked the offense hasn't found its rhythm yet, and he said no, that he's not shocked. So, yeah, it seems like the world would be a better place. It would actually be sunny in Philadelphia if Patullo left.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our Week 14 game picks. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back. Recap of Thursday Night Football. The Lions and the Cowboys. We don't know what the result is, but I'm excited to find out.
Always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast. Oh, we already did Rooski Game. I hit the wrong thing. Thursday Night Football. There we go. Lions put up 44, beat the Cowboys. And I mean, this turned out to end up being another one of those, or this ended up being another game where Dallas is in a high scoring affair. And there's just no way out of it. And especially when you consider the Lions offense, like, yeah, they have problems on defense, but I kind of accumulate the offense in terms of what I was saying about Joe Burrow earlier in the Bengals. Like, I'm not worried about Joe Burrow putting up 40 points. I'm worried about the defense letting up 40 points, but I know that I can trust Joe Burrow to keep pace. And the Lions are going to do that, of course. And the Lions ended up outpacing the Cowboys, of course, winning this one 44-30. I mean, they were up 20-9 at halftime. Dallas was able to make it a game, but at the end of the day, Detroit's offense was just too good for them. Jahmyr Gibbs, best running back in the league or no?
Second behind Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, fair enough. I can get with that. He wasn't even the leading rusher.
More of a 1A, 1B. Taylor's been weird lately.
Yeah.
I know I have him in fantasy.
Yeah, and Gibbs, I mean, like literally as soon as you get, like, I think with Gibbs compared to Taylor, like when you see Gibbs hit the open field, he just shoots out of a freaking cannon. It's like his acceleration, his speed, unbelievable. And not saying that Jonathan Taylor doesn't have speed.
Yeah, but not Gibbs speed.
Gibbs speed is different. That is different. Cowboys side, I mean, they're off. Like CeeDee Lamb had a really good game up until he got hurt. Ryan Flournoy was ended up
That was
being
a breakout game.
9 catches, 115 yards out of nowhere. But it was the turnovers. 3 total turnovers, including or pardon me, 2. Wait.
He had 2 picks, Dak, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, no, I think I was.
Oh, and they
screwing-
lost a fumble. Yeah, they had 3 total.
Yes, yeah, they had 3 total. I was looking at the box score wrong because I was like, oh, the graphics showed 3. Why am I reading 4? I was just looking at it wrong. 3 turnovers, and a lot of it was the offense. Just the offense was driving downfield, but they just kept sputtering and ended up being the Brandon Aubrey show. Which, I mean, if you had him on fantasy, goodness gracious,
Oh my god.
did you see what he had?
No, actually I didn't. I was just thinking about it. What did he get? What did he get?
24 points.
Well, yeah, 5 for 5 on field goals.
One of them a 60
1 of
yarder,
1
2 of
on
them
extra
50.
points. Huh?
One of them a 60 yarder,
Yeah.
2 of them being 50. Like, yeah, it was the Brandon Aubrey show.
Yeah, literally it was just field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, man. Because Dallas only had like 2 actual touchdowns?
Yep. Javonte Williams and CD
Flournoy, I
Dak
thought.
to Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah.
So that's how it is at the moment. And looking at the playoff, looking at
odds
first
there.
looking at just the standings in general. Cowboys 6-6-1, may as well be 2.5 games back of Philly. Bears or NFC North. Detroit's now 8-5. They're a game and a half back against the Packers. And we'll know obviously more on what the division's going to look like after this weekend, because Bears, Packers, of course. And for some reason, the playoff picture just doesn't want to load. I don't know why.
I have it on my end.
Okay, please.
What do you want to know? Percentage
Just
odds?
where the Cowboys and the Lions are now.
The Lions are still at 8, and the Cowboys have dropped down from 9 to 10. But the big picture here is the odds, right?
Okay.
Dallas was at like 21, like 19, somewhere like that. You know, they needed this, and their odds I think have gone down to like 9.
Damn.
You've gone down to single digits, which I have a term for that. I call it functionally eliminated. Like, you're alive, you have a path, but your path just got a hell of a lot narrower. And on the broadcast, they were saying, oh, Dallas is all offensive firepower. Their schedule's easy. They could run the table. Well, now it's not a matter of like you could run the table. You need to if you want to get in. And the Lions, they went from like a 42 to a 53. So you've gone from less than likely to a coin flip. So Dallas is, like I said, like they've dropped down to 9. So like I said, you're functionally eliminated essentially. The Lions kept their season alive. That was the big takeaway for me.
Yeah.
Like a spirited matchup, like they both, obviously your season's on the line. I mean, let's be real. Loser essentially doesn't go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not guaranteed, but and the Cowboys 6-6-1. I don't want to say that I know definitively their season's over, but
I'm not ready to rule out
it's,
the Cowboys yet, just because Carolina's still there.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's in the
it's Carolina
who's the
at
wild
9,
card?
Detroit at 8. And in the wild card, it's the Niners, the Packers, and the Seahawks.
Jeez.
So, and I said this earlier, it's not just that Dallas can run the table. The way I see it, they no longer control their own destiny. It's not enough for them to win. They need 5 teams ahead of them, 6 if you include Philly, to lose.
Yeah.
And obviously, Chris, you played the game. You, of all people, know that you never want your destiny in another team's hands.
Yeah.
Actually,
mean,
since
really,
the Niners, despite their injuries, have been looking good, the Seahawks have been looking good. The Packers have been pretty good as well, and the Eagles still have like 1.5, 2.5 game advantage now. So,
Yeah, I mean, especially, in any sport, but I feel like football,
Mm.
especially, just because of the
there's
little
only
amount
so
of
many games.
only so many games, and B, it's like it's literally so week to week that like, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that's I feel like I said, I feel like I can't write the Cowboys off just yet, especially when you look at the schedule. But when you really do factor in like the
Everyone ahead of
Packers,
them.
the Seahawks, and I mean, I'm may as well rope it in the Bears and the Rams too, because I'm gonna assume that the North and the West are really gonna flip flop for the next month, if anything, or be right on that line of like, hey, things could switch up by the time week 18 comes around.
Possibly, but like I said, they not only would they have to run the table, they would need other teams to lose.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, by the way, I just refreshed. We have the final updates. The Lions' odds are at 54, and Dallas's odds have gone down to 7. So forget 9. We're now at
So
7.
so worse than what we were
Yeah, I
anticipating.
just refreshed it because it's still the numbers were kind of wonky. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the broadcast isn't wrong either. They had the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders on Christmas Day, and then the Giants week 18. So
Those are
theoretically,
still 2 tough games. The Chargers and the other one there you said. Actually, no, not the Vikings. Never mind it.
the
I
Commons,
forgot. They had the McCarthy drag there.
yeah.
So the Chargers, I mean, maybe the Commanders, maybe.
I see more or less the Commanders than I do the Giants if we're gonna pull
I
the
mean, the
divisional
Commanders,
card.
I'm not saying that the Commanders are going to win. I'm just saying they could give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I'm really just pulling the division card at this point, really. So
Also, the Cowboys defense is so terrible. I mean, you saw Geno Smith uh, get some solid numbers on them too. Who knows? Maybe JJ McCarthy looks passable against them. But
yeah,
yeah, the Chargers are probably your toughest game left. And I think the Cowboys are at the point where is their remaining schedule easy? Yeah, which is good because they can't afford another loss. One more loss and you're essentially out.
yeah,
That's when even if you do win the rest of your games, you're not just going to need 1 or 2 teams to peter out. You're going to need like 4.
yeah. Detroit. I mean, you could say they're in that same combo. They're in 5 now. They're obviously a better situation than 6
Yeah,
and 1.
it's a coin flip essentially.
But yeah, like you said, it's a coin flip, and they had to play the Vikings one more time. They had to play the Bears at Soldier Field one more time, and that's a much different Bears team than they saw week 2.
Mhm.
Next week they have the Rams, sprinkling the Steelers as well. That Vikings game, short week as well on Christmas Day. So it's like lines, especially like because when you look at who's above them, the Packers, the Seahawks, and the Niners, like lines are kind of also in that spot, but it's not as ridiculous as the Cowboys because, uh, like they're not that far back from the Bears, and like I said,
Mhm.
they blew them out week 2, but still not the same Bears team.
Yeah, no, you're right. And even though the Bears are in possession of the 1 seed, you got to realize that they're only at a 74% shot to make the playoffs, given that the rest of their schedule is like hell.
Yeah, um, yeah. So it's the Lions are definitely looking at it. Never mind the win, but outside of the win, it's looking a lot more joyful for them. But I mean, only 3 teams make the wild card. And those are 3 damn good teams that are sitting in those wild card spots right now. All right. Anything else we want to touch on before we end the show, since that is all the scheduled content that we have for today?
Yeah, just one more thing.
Yeah.
There are some more teams that could get eliminated this week.
Mm.
With the
Yes.
Lions winning, and I think if the Vikings lose, then I think that they could probably be out this week if they lose. The Commanders as well are 3-9. Vikings maybe, but the Commanders are probably facing elimination this week. They might win though. You know, we
Who knows?
picked them to win, so you never know. And in the AFC side, I would say Cleveland is facing elimination, but they're also facing the Titans, so you never know. That could be weird. And the Jets. That game in Miami could go either way. So they're not going to make the playoffs, but to put it nicely, they can delay the inevitable.
Yeah, 100%. All right. That'll do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in to another Friday episode of the Fumblerooski podcast. New episode coming out on Tuesday at 8 a.m. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we also have all our episodes available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and so much more. Be sure to follow our Instagram, Fumblerooski_podcast. Keep up with the pod and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, he's CJ Medeiros. I'm Chris Costich. We will see you on Tuesday. Over and out.